It's Herm's house.
Love and family.
In Herm's house.
Not just you and me.
Herm's
Hello, and welcome back to Herm's House. I am your host, Herm, and this is my co-host, my lovely, beautiful wife, Kristin.
Hello.
We also, today, have a guest.
We do our very
us about
first guest, very special guest. He's the kind of guy that doesn't just show up, he shows up with a purpose. He's a U.S. Navy veteran and an Air National Guard alum who now pours his time and heart into helping other veterans rediscover their light. As a peer leader with the Wounded Warrior Project and the Southwest Regional Lead for QRF UP, Erik Jackson is on the front lines of mental health outreach and community support for those who have served. But what really stands out is his energy, the realness, the resilience, and the quiet leadership that makes you lean in and listen. He's the kind of person who reminds you that healing doesn't always look like a straight line. Sometimes it looks like showing up for your people, one conversation at a time. So whether you're a fellow vet, a military spouse, or someone who just wants to understand the human side of service, this episode is for you. And help me to welcome our very special guest, Erik Jackson.
Erik Jackson.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. I
You're gonna
appreciate
do
it.
it. Yes,
That's
absolutely.
awesome that I'm the first guest, too.
You are.
I
Yes.
feel very privileged.
So
Very
sorry,
privileged.
like we're a little rusty.
Let's be fair. You were the first one that answered the email, so I mean.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
that was-
Okay. I'm the first
Quick
guy
response.
by default.
Quick response. No, we wanted you. We wanted you from the day that we met you. We said, yeah, we needed to get you up on the podcast. You just have so much good information. So I mean, we're eager to share, and hopefully you're as eager as we are. But I wanted to ask real quick because she did say, and I didn't see it in the. I guess I didn't read the notes because she don't ever send them to me. That's a lie. She sends them to me. I just
all
don't.
the time. Just us random.
You were also in the Air National Guard, and back in December, I retired from the Air National Guard. She also was in the Air National Guard. So, what unit did you serve at?
I was at the 162nd.
162nd. That's awesome because we too.
We also
that's actually
were at the
where we
162nd.
met. Was at the 162nd. I retired from a different unit. I retired out of Texas, but that's where I started my Air National Guard career. Was out at the 162nd. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm actually a legacy from the 162nd. My grandfather served at the 162nd, and then my uncle served at the 162nd. So I'm like the third generation to serve there. So my grandfather,
Well, he retired in '97.
97.
I don't know. Were
Yeah.
you in there in '97 at the Air National Guard?
No.
But then your uncle was there.
My uncle was
Your uncle
there.
he was avionics. So if I recall, you were a crew chief.
Yes.
Yes. So he was avionics. He was a big old tall guy that very grumpy. You might have known him. You might have known him. But yeah. So you also obviously a U.S. Navy veteran.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, I was stationed on the USS New Orleans, amphibious assault carrier, LPH-11, and we were actually the first carrier group. I was part of the original carrier group to respond to the whole Black Hawk Down incident back in '93. Spent 135 days off the coast of Mogadishu.
Okay.
Yeah, good times.
That was in Somalia.
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were two.
Yeah,
And I just want to clarify that.
I recall the movie.
I know I'm a little more seasoned. but,
Just a
yeah.
little bit.
That's right.
But
You can't tell.
Yeah.
I'm aging gracefully. There we
Yes.
I'm aging like milk. So,
go. Yeah,
we're same almost.
yeah, we're keeping it together.
Yeah.
So what led you to serve?
Well, I actually come from a military family. Like starting out with my grandfather on my dad's side, he was actually part of the 101st Airborne back in World War II.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then my uncle, he served during the Korean War. He was part of the Airborne too.
That's
Yeah, he was Army. And then my dad was Vietnam vet. He was actually out here at Davis-Monthan, but like the last, I want to say 15 months of his enlistment, he was over at Clark Air Force Base in the Philippines.
oh, wow.
He was security forces, mounted police over there. So, yeah.
Good deal.
So long line.
I actually recruited for the security forces where I retired out of in
Yeah.
Texas, the security forces squadron out there. So I got to do all the cop stuff without actually having to be a cop. So it was pretty neat.
Yeah,
really-
it is cool.
You really wanted to wear the beret.
I
wouldn't
asked
let
them,
him.
let me get a beret. They're like, no, you're just a recruiter. I'm like, just a recruiter? Come on, let's be a little, whatever. But so I feel like I can ask you this question because it was kind of difficult for me. But what was the toughest part of transitioning back to civilian life for you?
I want to say, I think I can speak for you, me, all of us here, any veteran, pretty much. I think it's pretty much the same. across the board, if you put like 10 vets in a line, you're probably going to get at least 7, 8 of them give you the same answer. Right. It's finding your purpose. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because I know, you know, the military was such a part, such a huge part of my life.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had other jobs. I was in corrections after I got out, you know. And, you know, it just didn't seem right to me, you know. I was just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I can definitely relate. It is one of those things while I was in that I had, I guess more so the schedule. Like I already knew, you know, you got to get in. This is what my job is. And it was, and then when I get out and I'm just kind of like, okay, what do y'all need me to do? And everybody's like, we're good. What do you mean? And I'm like, oh, well then I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, so. I think we get to a point when we get out to the civilian life, you're like, now what? And then what was that realization for you? Like, did you have a moment where it was like you felt like you were starting over?
Yeah. I mean, because once you transition and you become a civilian, you no longer have a mission. So you're kind of like, we're trained from day one, from when you even go to basic, you know. You're going to do this, and this when we tell you. Mm-hmm. You're going to dress this way. These are your uniforms. These are your mannerisms. This is how you're going to address this officer. This is
customs and courtesies.
Yes. And that sticks with you throughout life.
Yep.
But, you know, it's really hard, you know.
It is.
I think it's hard for everybody. There's been some guys, I'm sure, that have been lucky enough to, you know, transition out, and maybe, you know, I've known a few guys that have started, you know, companies. Like I was part of Military Muscle, and Robert Principato, who ran it, he was Air Force. He retired, and then he started Military Muscle.
That's pretty cool. And that's one of the things that I guess for me, the hardest thing was dealing with the civilians more so, because even though we had civilians that worked with us in the unit, they were also former military. So they weren't true civilians, I guess, to a sense. But as far as civilian goes, what would you say is probably the most common misconception about being in the military or military lifestyle?
I would say there's a couple different things. I know that I have heard this from some civilians. Some civilians think that when you're in the military, oh, you got it easy, and you know. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
No, I don't know that I've heard it.
Yeah. And then there's basically like they don't understand. Mm-hmm. And it's hard for them. Even members of my family that weren't in the military. Yeah. Like my dad got it, my uncle got it. I could, you know, chop it up with them about whatever.
Absolutely.
And you know, the difference is just like when we first met, you know, it's that instant brother and sisterhood, because we're all one family.
Trauma bonding. Trauma bonding. We all went through basic. We all went through the stuff that we had to go through, especially like on the flight line, or if you were on the ship working on jets. And I tell her all the time, speaking of the movie Top Gun, I was like, you know who got zero credit about that? The crew chiefs out there fueling the jet. They're out there putting all the munitions and all that stuff. And well, you know, Maverick got all the.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a movie about crew chiefs and weapons.
Well, I think it's always funny. Is like you tell someone you're in the Air Force or Air National Guard, like, oh, what plane did you fly?
What plane did you fly?
Oh, I didn't really fly planes.
Did you get that in the Navy? Did you get a boat?
Yeah. They categorize. I think with all the services, like you tell them, hey, I'm in the Navy. Oh. And then a lot of people would be like, oh, do you wear that? What is that? That uniform that you see on the Cracker Jack box.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, and they actually called that the Cracker Jack dress uniform.
Yeah. When it was funny, when my son was getting ready to join, so he joined the Air Force. He's coming up on his 3rd year in the Air Force. I told him off the bat, I know his personality. I said, don't waste your time with the Marines and the Army. Go talk to the Navy. Go talk to the Air Force. I said, but just get in the Navy, just understand that when you go, you're going to have about 13 uniforms, and you're going to have to maintain every single one of them. In the Air Force, we got about 3 of them. So it's a heck of a lot easier to iron one set of blues, and that's your service dress regardless of what's going on.
Right.
and you're good to go compared to, I'm sure that, you know, in the Navy, you guys had significantly higher number of uniforms than 3.
Well, we had our duty uniform. We had the dress whites, dress blues, and then I had my flight deck gear. You know, I had a whole.
You also had your PT gear, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
That's
PT
considered,
gear.
that's considered a uniform.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, and those are the things that I told my kid. I was like, you know, I support you either way. But just know it's going to be more tedious in the
Right.
Navy than it would be. Yeah, so he looked at it for a little bit and was like, you know what, the Air Force don't sound too bad. So obviously he went that route.
What's he doing for him?
He's cargo.
Oh,
He's
okay,
cargo.
Loadmaster.
No, he's so Loadmaster is the one that gets to fly with the jet. He's the one that loads them while they're on the ground, and then once they take off, and he just waits for the next one and loads that one up with whatever the cargo that they need.
Oh, nice.
He's qualified in all kinds of loaders. As far as I guess they qualify him, or they classify him per weight, as far as what it can lift. So he's qualified from the smallest to the absolute top, and he's still an A1C. So he's been in there for 2.5 years, and he's got all the qualifications. So I was like,
Well, that's great.
yeah, it's the way to do it. Attaboy.
So when we're talking about brotherhood and sisterhood, and when we first met you and we got to talk about all the amazing organizations that you're part of, so how did you get involved with Wounded Warrior Project and QRF Up?
The way I got involved with Wounded Warrior was actually, you know, in just one of my little jobs that I've had along the way. You know, I was actually working at Lowe's for a little while, and a buddy of mine that I met when I first started there, he was Wounded Warrior alumni, and he told me, he's like, he gave me all the information and gave me the number like I gave to you guys, you know, and I just called him up, and that's kind of how that all turned out. And then when I started going to a couple of the outreach events, I found out that there was a need for, you know, warrior leaders, which does the outreach events, which I do, as well as we didn't have a peer group in Tucson. We haven't had one until I started it 4 months ago. We hadn't had one in Tucson for about 4 years.
Wow. Yeah. And for us, when you hear Wounded Warrior Project, I didn't really think, I thought like, okay, those people that really got injured or hurt while serving overseas. I'm thinking, you know, the different soldiers or Marines or whoever that like got a leg blown
Basically,
off.
the Purple Heart recipients.
Yeah.
That was my misconception, was immediately, because I'm 100% disabled. You know, I've had surgeries galore, but those were all because, you know, something got hurt while I was doing something, and then we took care of it later on, you know, compared to a Purple Heart, you're wounded during battle, which is what I thought ever since I first heard of Wounded Warrior Project, was you were wounded in battle. So, I mean, obviously that's a misconception.
Yeah, the way it originally started out with Wounded Warrior was they started out giving backpacks with goods for warriors that did get wounded in battle. And then as the years went on, it transitioned into we now have anybody that's we even have people that are still active duty can join Wounded Warrior, and we have people of all ratings. We have alumni that have no ratings all the way up to and including 100% disabled vets. So it's a great organization. They've done a lot of huge things for me. They have a lot of great resources, a lot of mental health programs. They have the Project Odyssey program, and I've even got to go with them on the. I got to go to Washington D.C. and advocate for veteran legislation last March.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, there was. I was one of the 6 that represented Arizona. We had over 250 alumni from all over the United States.
That's great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and then one that isn't really, that I've just introduced to by you, an amazing program, QRF Up. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how that got started and how you're a part of that?
Yeah, well, the great thing about social media is that you're actually able to connect. I've connected with tons of different vets since I initially got on Instagram. I don't know about you guys, but but I think it's a great conduit for connecting and being able to collaborate with different people too. So the way that turned out I initially met Damian Salaya. He also runs Freedom Bear Coffee. And he was actually working with, he knows Ramsey's the CEO of QRF. And so initially they were running ads about needing responders. And so I was like, that seems like something that I'd be interested in doing, being able to, I'm always interested in finding a way to help my brothers and sisters, you know, and ever since I got plugged into like Wounded Warrior, that's been my new mission. And that's basically helped me find my purpose again. And that kind of like plummeted me or spearheaded me to where I'm at now. But so I got linked up with Damien. We started talking on Instagram, and he gave me the initial information. And the good part is, since I was already trained as a peer leader with Wounded Warrior, I already had 3/4 of the training done to be one of the responders. So they just sent me the rest of it was like 3 or 4 different little learning modules that I did online, and then I was a squared away responder with them. So after that, then I just started, doing what I do now. I share posts, I tag people. I was tagging QRF, and then Ramsey's and the other leadership team, they noticed that, so they actually reached out to me and wanted to have like an initial call with me on like a conference call, like a video conference call. And then he's like, brother, first of all, I wanted to thank you for all the work that you're doing on Instagram. He's like, we appreciate how you're sharing all this information and putting it out. And I wanted to ask you if you would be interested in being more involved with QRF. And I was like, yeah, that's great. You know, I said, what does that entail? And that was the initial, when they offered me the state lead, originally when I started out just as the Arizona state lead position. And so I started doing that, and then that's when I started doing the in Tucson events. I'm actually got a Phoenix event I'm going to go up to, and I actually started speaking about QRF and what we do and what it consists of and how we're trying to get responders, and it's a nationwide program, you know. So,
and I think one important thing to also mention, it's veterans and first responders, right?
That's correct. Yeah, this is unique in itself because, and it's actually veterans, first responders, and families.
Oh, wow.
So family members are included in everything. And we have the equine program. I just found out last night at the meeting that the initial Hero Complex, which is in Iowa, is set to be completed in about a couple months.
Wow.
And it's going to be over 160 acres.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
and it's going to have everything. It's going to have an equine therapy facility. It's going to have a gym facility, counseling, medical, anything you can think of kind of therapy will be there. It's all inclusive, and all the services at the facilities in every state once they get built are going to be completely free for both veterans and first responders.
Wow.
So
That's
after
amazing.
so after that got going, I was doing the state lead position for a while, and then Ramsey's approached me again, and he's like, Erik, I'd really like to talk to you again, and me and the team are really interested in talking to you about something else. And I was like, oh, okay, what's going on, you know? So then we had another talk, and they're like, we're actually looking for, well, actually, unbeknownst to me, Cynthia, one of the ladies with QRF, she had actually moved me into, because he's like, oh, she's trying to get in touch with you. And I said, I only had one email from her, and that was from when I basically got started. And he's like, yeah, they moved you into the Southwest region lead. And I'm like, oh.
Spoiler.
Congratulations.
I'm like, okay.
Sweet.
So I was like, what does that entail? you know, and then so now I'm in charge of recruiting for not only Arizona, but I have California, Utah, and Nevada.
Wow,
So
that's a big reach.
yeah, but I mean, we're making it happen.
It's good.
So can you talk about a moment when your work made a real difference in someone's life?
Yeah, I just was able to. We had a guy in my peer group. This just happened the other day. So he was really down on his luck, and we were kind of concerned about him. You know, the other peer leader that does the peer group with me, he actually made a chat for all of us, which was kind of cool. But anyways, what happened is he had been in and out of jobs, and he lost his job, and his truck was broke down. So he was like, man. From last month's meeting, he's like, Erik, I'm not going to be able to make it. Mm-hmm. So immediately I ran and talked to one of my other buddies who actually works at the VA that goes to my peer group. Mm-hmm. And he's actually in peer support at the VA. And I'm like, hey, he's out of work. We gotta get this going. We got to take care of our brother, you know, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. With that said, I have to ask you, because I'm new to the journey of my mental health. It took me a long time to finally decide, like, okay, I dealt with a lot of stuff growing up and even in the military and things like that. And you have to ask yourself, when is it time to actually start finding help for yourself? So when for you, or what is it like for you to take care of your own mental health? And then while you're also supporting others in their mental health journey?
Well, that's kind of like one of those interesting questions and an interesting answer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because, like, I'm sure you guys agree with me. Like, we're always trying to take care of others before we take care of ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, like in the example I was talking about, the guy in my peer group, you know, I wasn't concerned with what's going on with me or anything else in my life. I immediately was focused on making sure that I could do whatever I could in my power to like help him get a job and get everything going, because I don't need him going down that dark path.
Right.
Because you know that all that compounded on him, he could get in a dark place real quick.
Was that in itself therapeutic to you, being able to actually make a difference in what he was going through?
I would say yes, because that's, for me, I mean, I've already had my experiences with counseling and stuff, and its own issues, you know that.
Right.
So for me, doing what I can to help others helps me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a quick fix,
No.
Right.
but it's more like a for now fix.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, we got him working now, and he's doing good on that.
That's good.
That's awesome. And I like to have in my life, and David knows this. Herm knows this.
Am I in
Everybody
trouble? What
knows.
happened?
Yeah, no.
You're on the naughty list.
Yeah, that's, he's like, oh no, she said David, like my cup. Yo, David. But I like to have a happy list. And my happy list is basically things that make me happy. So when I'm feeling down, I go to one of those things on my list to make me feel better. So what would you say is something that's on your happy list?
Most definitely at the top is going to be my kids. You know, everything I do is for them. I'm a single dad, so they're at the top. And then, of course, I'm truly blessed to have found my girlfriend. You know, she accepts me for all of the issues that I have. You know,
Hey, I can relate.
and that is huge. It's very hard to find your person, I think. So they're at the top of my list. And then there's I also have my mom and dad. I also help take care of them. So that's my happy list. And doing what I do in the community, I think I'm actually, putting a dent in making change.
I mean,
I feel that the trajectory that where QRF's going and what I'm doing with Wounded Warrior as well is we're trying to change lives.
yeah, the fact that a city like Tucson that's got over 1 million people, at least the whole metroplex that we has over 1 million people, and the vast majority of them are veterans, or a lot of them are veterans, that we didn't have any kind of representation or anything for over 4 years. Like that's crazy. And the fact that you're now in, and you know, that in itself is making a huge difference. And obviously we thank you for that. And
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Well, and then on top of everything else, you're going to school, right? You're almost done with your bachelor's degree.
Right.
So what does that milestone mean to you?
Well, the goal is I'm using the Voc Rehab, and the goal with that is I had a associate's degree already with Pima Community College, so I'm going to Liberty University, and they were able to actually absorb over 72 credits.
Wow.
So it's been pretty good. I'd been out of school for several years, so you know, getting back in there was I was kind of nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I'm almost done. I got like a little over this next semester, and I'll be done with the bachelor's. It'll be a bachelor's in interdisciplinary studies with psychology and sociology in there, and business. And then after that, I'm gonna do the master's in mental health. And the original goal was to try to work for a nonprofit, or, you know, I was looking at working with Wounded Warrior, and because I already do like mental health related stuff right now. So, and then with everything going on at QRF, it's kind of all been falling into place for me, which is kind of huge, you know? So I really think that everything happens for a reason, you know?
When your path is right, it's almost clear, right? Things start just happening for you. So what advice would you give to a veteran right now who feels lost?
Any veteran, any of our brothers and sisters that are lost, I would implore them to reach out to Wounded Warrior Project, QRF, or there's hundreds of different foundations out there that will be the light in the darkness for them, because nobody needs to, you know, be lost and alone, and we're all here to support each other.
Yes, definitely. And if they wanted to find QRF, where would they look to find QRF?
You can go to QRForganization.org, or on Instagram, they're at QRF Up Organization.
And then the Wounded Warrior Project, that's just woundedwarriorproject.org?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, Erik, that's our time. I really appreciate you coming out here, giving all this information. We're going to tag all of the websites and all the things, so that way any of the veterans that are watching or listening to our podcast, they could actually get on there, and it's just something that you at least have an avenue. You got something that you can go to, and that you know you're not alone. So that's huge, and we really appreciate your time to come up here and
Of
and share all
course.
that
I appreciate
information.
you guys.
And again, first guest. I wish we had like a trophy.
I know.
Like
a
a little
badge.
lanyard
Yeah,
or
Yeah, like
something.
something.
First guest.
Yes. And then remember, everyone, to share this episode with someone who may need to hear it. Follow, like, and subscribe. Of course, Herm's House.
Yes, absolutely.
At Herm's House Podcast.
At Herm's House Podcast, yes. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We are on TikTok. And
on TikTok.
we are on all of the things. So what we also want to do is obviously thank everybody who has made this possible, all of our sponsors. Masterpiece Studios International, Intelligent Design, Mental Health Podcast. Make sure you give that a listen as well. The Common Good Radio Show for those of you local here in the city of Tucson. And obviously, can't forget Beautiful Sunday Marketing Collective. One of us has a big stake in that one.
I do. Yeah. And the show wouldn't be what it is without the continued support from our sponsors. Your partnership helps us keep the conversation going and the outreach growing. So if you'd like to sponsor an upcoming episode or support our veteran outreach efforts, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us directly, hermshousepodcast@gmail.com, or message us on Instagram at hermshousepodcast. Together, we can continue to amplify veteran voices, build bridges, and create real impact one story at a time.
Okay, so that's our time. Remember, no matter where you are, you're always welcome at Herm's House. And but don't stay too late, because then I end up getting in trouble. So that's a common thing. But in all seriousness, know that you matter and that you are not alone. Reach out to us if you ever need us. Thanks.
Bye.